Being a radio presenter for me has been a very exciting journey, but it's one that I don't feel that I'm lucky because I don't believe in luck that much. I believe in hard work. Is one thing that I've always looked forward to all my life. So I was always prepared for the moment. So when I had the opportunity, I was fully ready for it. But the main question is, how did I, who had no educational background of the media, doing very well in the media? Not very well, but I know I'm trying. I know that there is no TV station confidently you would take me to that I would not be able to do presentation. There is no radio station I would not be able to do presentation. There is nothing about the media that you would involve me that I would not be able to do. But today, basically, we're going to be talking about how I managed to be here and how I got here. My experience has taught me a lot, and I've been able to see things from a different angle entirely concerning the media industry. So you out there who is aspiring to become a radio presenter, how do you go about it? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, please hit the subscribe button. So the first question is, who is a radio presenter? Well, a radio presenter is, first of all, an entertainer, someone who provides information, scheduling of music, quality music for the listener to enjoy. A presenter who generally performs live, and this role requires your ability to maintain a flow of communication or conversations alone, sometimes with someone else. Just like television shows, radio presentation has so many segments, from interviews to anchoring of shows and to interaction section. So, in a nutshell, a radio presenter is someone who anchors shows on the radio. Before now, they call them radio presenters, now on-air personalities. Many people still argue, especially those who has been in the industry, they still say you are radio presenters, not on-air personalities. But that's by the way. So if you have interests doing any of these things, you've always admired the radio, you want to be a radio presenter, how do you go about it? And the number one thing everybody would tell you is go to school, study mass communication, study a broadcasting related course and all of that, which is very fine. But I'll tell you the hard truth. Don't come for me in the comment section. Most persons that I've seen who truly studied mass communication or a related field, they're not really good at TV, radio, maybe because they never had interest in it, or because the system isn't really structured to teach these things practically. There are many of them who have come for internship, and we've seen how badly they perform. It takes lots of effort. In fact, what they learn in 2-3 months supersedes what they've learned all their 2, 3, 4 years, depending on the time they came for internship. So the number one thing that brought to my head is interest. Interest is very important. Now I'm telling you this from the depth of my heart, because no matter what you want to do, if you don't have the interest for it, you're not going to do it. That is why we still see these people who are supposed to be trained experts, in this field as presenters, but they don't know how to do it because they don't have interest. You see many of them, they just say, I just want to pass my exams. So the passing of the examination is the most important thing for them. So if you want to become a media personality, a radio presenter, for the sake of this content, you need to have interest. You need to have the deep, very deep interest to become that thing. And that interest that you have is what is going to translate into other things that we are going to talk about. So, are you really interested in becoming a radio presenter? Now, if you are interested, the second thing you need to know is knowledge acquisition. Knowledge acquisition. There is no script with me. I'm telling you what I know, what I've seen. Knowledge acquisition. Are you ready to acquire the knowledge of the field, of radio presenting? Are you ready to acquire the knowledge? Now, this knowledge we're talking about is not one that you must necessarily get in the formal setting, in the formal setting of the school, go to school. No, that is not the knowledge I'm talking about. Trust me, the world has gone beyond that. I'm talking about you going online to read, watch videos like this and other educational videos that can give you tips. Trust me, YouTube right now has more information than your textbook does. Yes, YouTube has more information than your textbook does. Go on YouTube, find out, learn how to present, get some tips and all of it. Just gather knowledge on that field. Now, this knowledge I'm talking about is so important that for me, I was already like practicing. I already practiced to be a radio presenter. I practiced presentation styles. I was just practicing and practicing and practicing. Now it's only when you have the knowledge you can practice. Practice to become a radio presenter. Yes, practice. You can do that by virtue of podcast. You can start a podcast. It's going to help you. So you get to hear your voice, hear how you sound, and just work with it. Now you need to have a niche, even as you are interested. Now these are just random facts, but in the end, I'm going to, clarify all of them. I remember when I started my journey as a radio presenter, I was almost forced to become a sports presenter. The truth is, I don't do sports, and I was just telling myself this is not my thing. So the interest will come first before any other thing. Then you must be ready and willing, very willing to gather knowledge, fetch knowledge on that field of study. Remember, it's not a knowledge that you fetch just by being a graduate of that field or someone who is schooled in that field. It's a knowledge that you can find on YouTube. You can find reading textbooks. You can find anywhere. Knowledge is more accessible than it was before now. It's also very important for you to develop professional connections. There are people that you want to navigate your journey with, people you want to meet these people. They're in the field, and trust me, they have so much information to offer you. Another thing is the need for you to be trained if you have to. Now, many people, there are just few persons who understand this aspect of it, and it requires sacrifice to do this. Are you willing to go for a 2, 3 months or 6 months training without you being paid? Now, you're not going to be a full-time staff or worker there, but are you willing to go meet someone who is going to take your training personal? It could mean you being a part of the program. Now, before you even do this, for some presenters who are already there, they need to see a level of experience in you. That is why I told you that you must have gotten informed, self-informed by gathering knowledge. So building professional connections is also one important thing to do. Improve your experience in the media production world. Trust me, this is going to be very important. I started my first radio presentation job without any connection. What happened was, the moment I go there, everything about me shows that I'm ready to be a radio presenter. So even when there was a peg, as to what they wanted someone who is very vast in the radio. I've spent years in the radio. I have not spent years practically in a radio station, but I spent years preparing myself for the radio station. So I hope these facts have been able to help you, groom or prepare yourself to become a radio presenter. This is not the end. I'd possibly drop some other important tips that can help you on your journey as a radio presenter. So in a nutshell, gather have the interests, be so much interested in becoming a radio presenter, you should also be very willing to gather knowledge. Learn. Knowledge is everywhere and very accessible. Find your niche. What do you want to do in the radio specifically? What do you want to do? Meet with professionals, connect with professionals, connect with people who are already there. Be willing to be trained. Go for apprenticeship, go for training, go for internship. The radio is very sweet. It's very, very sweet, and you're going to really enjoy it. Trust me, there are lots of opportunities in the radio world, which we're going to be talking about in some other of our videos. I hope you were able to learn something. If you did, consider subscribing to this channel. I am GP.